Hello, today is a follow-up video from my previous video looking at some of the new features of Logic Pro 11. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the Stem Splitter and ChromaGlow saturation plugin. Now, these will only work on Apple Silicon computers. These won't work on Intel-based Macs. So my $3,000 MacBook Pro 2019 is sat behind me while I'm borrowing my wife's MacBook Air M1 chip, which I got for 600 quid off of eBay a couple of years ago. So a little bit miffed, as I mentioned in the previous video, but let's see if they're worth the hype or they're just gimmicks. So firstly, let's jump in. We're going to look at the Stem Splitter. I have 3 different tracks of mine. The last one is just an orchestral piece. So no vocals, no bass guitar, no drums, just some piano, some strings. And I think that's it. The other track we're looking at has a voice in it. It's this one over here. And it's got a little bit of mix of voice, bass, drum, guitar. And the first one is just kind of your drums, electric guitar, electric piano. So a range of different tracks. Now, why is that important? Well, when we go to split the stems, let's go for the first one, for example, right click, you go to processing, and we're going to click Stem Splitter. Now, we can now pick what we actually want. There's other bass, drums, and vocals. That's how it splits it down. So if I press split, that will now show me a lovely little window to the side of it just loading. Take a couple seconds, and voila. Now, for the vocals, obviously, there is nothing there. But we do have, I think this is the drums. Which is pretty good. And then I think this is the bass down here. A little bit dirty. And then finally, just the other. Which I kind of wish it would split it further. I understand this is probably not an easy thing to accomplish, but that's kind of a mix of everything. And you will find, especially with this last one, if I show you right now, this is just piano and strings. If I go to actually process and split this, so especially for like orchestral work, this isn't going to work. It's just going to all appear in the other, and you're not going to have a breakdown of everything else. And I don't really see, as a composer, I don't see a huge use for this personally. Now, as a video editor, I see a huge use for this. In DaVinci Resolve, there is now an AI feature where it won't split the stems, but I can turn the drums down specifically in the track. I can turn the vocals down. I can control the bass. So I can kind of mix the audio a little bit better as an editor to fit my footage better. But as a composer, I think you already might have heard, especially if you've got headphones, this other is a little bit muddy. Yeah, the drums are okay. The quality isn't amazing. And so I guess you could, in a squish, and you've maybe lost the original project, take the drums out, replace them with something else. But wouldn't it be better just to get the original project and work on that? And voila, there you have it, this orchestral piece. We have nothing on any other track, just the other. So to me, this feels a bit gimmicky, as it's very limiting, and again, only on Apple Silicon. Last but not least, we will process this one just so I can show you that it does recognize the voice. And this isn't exactly pure vocals, it's more just some weird speaking within the track. And there we have it, last but not least. Just solo the vocals there for you.
Observing that although everything within the cottage was particularly neat and clean and in good order, the ploughman and his wife had the most sorrowful...
Not the biggest fan of that quality, although if I actually play the original track for you just to show you how it was in the track in that section.
Brown bread on a wooden platter. Merlin could not help observing that, although
bit of a weird chill pop sort of vibe there, but kind of has made it a bit
So he
crackly.
questioned them.
See a bit of a crack there in the voice. If we listen to the original, don't think we'll have that crack.
So he questioned them on the cause of their melancholy and learned that they
So yeah, definitely a degrade in quality when it's splitting it. But
were miserable because they had
is this something I've always wanted as a composer? No. As a video editor, yes. And I have that within DaVinci Resolve. But at the moment, it feels like a bit of a gimmick. I really wish you could do it with orchestral, split woodwind, brass and strings. That would be cool, but even then, would I use it? I'd rather go to the original track. It definitely feels like there's a degrade in quality of the sound. But what do you think of this feature? Is it something you're going to use? What use case do you see for it personally? Anyway, moving on. Very easy to use though, must admit. Let's look at this plugin, this glow. What do they call it? There's a saturation plugin, I know that much. ChromaGlow. That's how it looks. I've got open just a classic electric piano. This is the sort of sound that you're going to get out of this piano without anything on. Beautiful little piano. And we've got a couple of different models here. Drive, you can bypass stuff below a pre, do pre, post, low cut, high cut. It's a saturation plugin. There is a load of presets as well. If you click on the top, sadly it's not showing you on the screen. Again, I've set up my wife's computer to do a screen record, so it's not acting how it is, but I can promise you when you do that, you've got bass acoustic, bass EDM, bass electric, drums, electric guitar, keys. Let's put a key one on as we have keys. Clean keys? Why not? Let's try slow and warm. Okay, before and after. So this is off. Is it a deal breaker? It's nice. I cannot argue with that. It does have a kind of nice sound to it, but I'm wondered why it's Apple Silicon only. What other saturation do we already have? So that's a chrome clip. We just put some bog standard distortion on this. Let's just swap it out. So all I've opened is just your bog standard distortion plugin. I'm going to turn this one off and turn both off. Just there's the raw sound. So this is something that works, and it's been in Logic for a while. We turn this back on, and maybe do something a little bit more warm and delicate. It's just a saturation plugin, and You can kind of replicate that with the plugin that was already in there, and there's probably 101 other plugins out there as well that will work with an Intel-based Mac as well. Is it cool? Yeah, I like it. Is it a deal breaker? No. It's just another thing they've added, and I'm confused as to why it's Apple Silicon only. Is it nice? Yeah. Stem Splitter? That's interesting. I'm not overly excited about it personally, but you can do it on Apple Silicon. But again, that's my opinion. Other people might like it and really love it, but what do you think? And very easy to use, I must admit. The Stem Splitter is super easy to use, and well, this is just saturation. There you have it. Not much else to say. It's a saturation plugin. I've seen similar stuff before, but thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.